Imagine waking up tomorrow, right, and discovering this massive hidden trust fund in your name.
Yeah, that would be pretty amazing.
Right. And it's one you've had access to your whole life, but you never knew the combination to the vault. Today we're looking at an excerpt from the April 9th devotional, Rhapsody of Realities by Pastor Chris from rhapsodyofrealities.org.
And the mission here today is really to explore this concept of living in the fullness of the blessings of Christ and, how this text suggests completely reframing your daily mindset.
So to understand this trust fund, we first have to figure out who actually holds the combination, right?
Exactly. Because historically, people often assume that level of spiritual abundance is just locked away for saints or, the early apostles.
The VIPs.
Yeah, exactly, the VIPs. But Pastor Chris points to Romans 15.29 to establish that this fullness is, it's basically standard issue for every single Christian.
Which is wild. It's like realizing you've been flying standby your whole life when you actually had a first-class ticket in your pocket the whole time.
That is a perfect analogy.
But, if we all have this first-class ticket, the natural question is, well, how is it dispensed? Like, does God just hand over a lump sum on day one?
Not exactly, no. The devotional takes a really fresh look at a famous line, Matthew 6.11, give us this day our daily bread.
Oh, right, sure.
And instead of treating that as just a vague plea for survival, it's interpreted as evidence of a divine daily budget.
A daily budget.
Right. God operates with a specific provision, an allotment of blessings mapped out just for you every single day.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because if there's a daily budget mapped out for me, what happens on the days I'm just completely oblivious to it?
Yeah, that is the big question.
Like, do I just lose yesterday's allocation because I, forgot to claim it?
Well, that's where this shifts from pure theology to a really profound psychological mechanism.
Yeah.
Because the text claims uncollected blessings don't just disappear.
Wait, really? Where do they go?
They actually accumulate as arrears, and you're instructed to actively, call them forth.
Oh, wow. So blessings roll over like unused data on a cell phone plan.
Yes, exactly like rollover data. And think about the psychological impact of that framework. By reframing missed opportunities as accumulated arrears, it effectively neutralizes human regret.
Right, because instead of looking back and thinking, oh, I messed up, I missed my chance, you start looking at your past as this massive rollover reservoir.
Exactly. It completely shifts a person from backward-looking bitterness to forward-looking anticipation.
You stop grieving lost time.
Right. You stop grieving and you start expecting an abundant supply.
Now, if you're listening to this and thinking, this sounds suspiciously like the prosperity gospel, that was my immediate thought too.
Sure, it's a very fair point to raise.
Because if I'm just stockpiling spiritual rollover data to get rich and comfortable, that sounds incredibly self-serving. Is the ultimate goal here really just sitting on a mountain of personal blessings?
It totally would be if the idea stopped right there. But Pastor Chris brings in 1 Peter 3.9,
okay,
which discusses being called to inherit a blessing. And this inheritance is meant to be a catalyst, not a retirement fund.
Ah, got it. So the personal advantage is actually fuel for a much larger mission. How does that translate practically?
Well, if your daily needs are met and even exceeded, you are no longer operating out of survival mode.
That makes a lot of sense.
And that surplus becomes the engine for serving others. Specifically, the devotional argues this abundance equips you to distribute God's word globally, like in every known language.
Wow, every language.
Yeah, you leverage your personal provision to bring others into what it calls the glorious liberty of the sons of God, which basically means helping them experience that exact same freedom from lack and worry.
So you access your trust fund so you can help others unlock theirs. To summarize for everyone, these blessings aren't hidden behind a VIP rope. You have a daily budget, your unused provisions sit in a rollover account waiting to be claimed, and this abundance is ultimately meant to be poured back out into the world.
It is just a really fascinating framework for looking at spiritual provision and personal capacity.
It really is, and leaves you with something to really chew on regarding that hidden trust fund we started with. If you operate on the premise that your divine provisions have truly been piling up in a vault of arrears for years, what specific uncollected blessing from your past are you actually better equipped to handle today than you were back then?
We trust you were blessed by this episode. To gain unlimited access to Rhapsody of Realities by Pastor Chris, please download the Rhapsody app using the link myapp.rhapsodyofrealities.org. God bless you.